Damn! Hey! Hey! What the hell? Hey! Give me this! Hey! Hey! What the fuck? Messiah! Messiah! The hell?
No! Anyways, guys, Eagles today, Super Bowl champs. Yeah, let's go. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Please like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the Philadelphia Eagles 2025 roster grades. And in this, we will go through and see what the Super Bowl champs are looking like after a pretty, I won't say rough offseason, but they definitely lost some guys. As well as the fact that, again, we'll see actually how comparable they were last year to their Super Bowl roster. Not really, because they got stuff. But anyway, yeah, again, if you have not watched past roster grade videos, we're pretty deep into this now. I think we only have like 5 or so teams left. I do really recommend you watch the Aura Farm, which is the Tennessee Titans 2025 roster grades. That'll go through basically everything you need to know about it. And if you watch the Chiefs, the past roster team we went through, again, you probably need like a good explanation because I did that in, what was it, 9 minutes? Something like that. Anyway, yeah, that's what I have on that. Also, the only thing that it really misses is the fact that if, again, a good baseline for about an average grade, which is a C, again, letter grade, again, that's how we can kind of transfer that. It's about 234 points, which is, you'll see at the end how that incorporates into it. We have a range for both sides of the ball as well and stuff. But anyway, let's get in the Eagles quarterback situation with Jalen Hurts. And if you do remember the title in the thumbnail, yes, Jalen Hurts, there's some very outlandish takes on how good of a quarterback he actually is. Simply put, he is not an elite passer. That's just kind of how he will be in his entire career. His arm has never really been anything close to that. He didn't grade out anywhere close to that coming into the NFL, and he's still not really that great there. But he has a phenomenal touch on his pass. I'll give him that most of the time. I will say sometimes, again, like the length of his throws are sometimes a little bit off. And the reason I say length, it's kind of like, I'm not trying to get like super... I wouldn't even say nerdy here, but technical here. Like, basically, imagine, like, the touch on the ball is how much air it gets on it in terms of, like, actually how much you're taking off of it. But the actual length is, like, the trajectory to the ball. That's sometimes a little bit off, but outside of that, it's not really a big deal there. Again, he hasn't always been the great. Again, coming into the league, 2020, 2021, he was absolutely horrible throwing over the middle. But ever since, he's been a lot better. So not, like, at a crazy high level, but definitely a little bit above average there. Again, he's a great runner, as we all know, even though the efficiency the past 2 seasons maybe has not been where it is. Also, I would like to say, guys, again, just for anyone who, like, has a notion of him being an actual top 5 quarterback, which he isn't. I wouldn't even call him an elite guy either. I understand he wins. We'll get to that in a minute. But he is, the past 2 seasons, like, the efficiency hasn't been great. But like I said, he hasn't thrown even close to 4,000 yards in his career. Yeah, I get 2022, he almost did. But, like again, got injured, probably would have. He was probably he was definitely an MVP candidate that year. Like, that really good year from him. But still, hasn't hit 4,000 yards. And, like, that kind of just tells you, like, a very good baseline for him. Again, it's just a number. I understand that. But still, outside of that, again, Jalen Hurts, I get he wins a lot of football games. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in one of his first 4 years as a starter. Pretty crazy there. But yeah, again, he's got a great team as well. There's a lot of good things going on. Probably the best supporting cast. We got something going on here. Is that it? We got a B or something in here? We got something going on. I'm just going to let it chill. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, yeah, he's a really freaking quarterback, but, you know, he's not elite. I got to say that. Tanner McKee, he might have been better than Kenny Pickett last year. Probably why he got the backup job. Very good in the pocket. We knew that coming out. Biggest issues for him, though, is that, like, he's just not mobile. But, again, in this offense, again, with what they're going to use him for, not really that big of an issue. Again, we got a fly here on the camera. So, again, if you don't see that, pretty sure. And then we're geeked here, so I don't know what's going on with this. And then, again, outside of that, if we can get to it. There we go. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he threw no touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He like went 0-4 or something. He was legitimately the worst quarterback I've ever seen last season. Some people think he's that guy. He's not really, though, because he's a pretty powerful arm. And I'd much rather have that than some of the other guys I've seen tried out there in the past 10 or so years. Kyle McCord, he should be their third-string quarterback. That's all I'll say. But yeah, he was pretty good last year at Syracuse. Anyway, I'll give Jalen Hurts an A-. I might probably say a B+, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, but yeah, Jalen Hurts isn't an elite quarterback, but honestly, screw it. I'm going to, no, he's better than Jared Goff, though. That's my problem. How much better? I think I'm going to stick at an A-. I think that is fair for him. Again, I don't think he's, like, I think he's definitely overrated, but I don't think he's, he's definitely, like, a really good quarterback. He's, like, I think, like, he's probably top 10, so I think an A- is fair for him. But, like, I don't know. I'm not, like, too confident in that, but I think he does deserve it from what he's done so far. So, an A-. Let's get to the other positions before we get into this offensive line. Moving over to the running back position here for the Eagles. Yeah, Saquon, he just had the second 2,000-yard season of the 2020s, which is still insane to say. Yeah, I get he only got over 2,000 yards. He probably would have broke the record if he played in Week 18. He had the best year of his career by far. He had one of the best seasons I've ever seen out of a running back. I didn't like, again, if you saw the offseason tour for the Eagles. Yeah, I wasn't too fond on that title. But still, yeah, Saquon, you can't make stuff up. He was that good that season, last season. And, you know, again, it wasn't like, I will say one thing. He might be the best running back in football, which is obviously the truth. But still doesn't break. I'm joking. Yeah, Saquon, he's so good. There's no way around that. Will Shipley, yeah, he had that touchdown against the Commanders or something like that, his first touchdown of the year in the NFC Championship. Yeah, he's just kind of a dude there. I hope he can maybe get a little bit better in terms of just simply like maybe a breakaway sort of run sort of thing, because they would need him for that. It's not like Saquon can do that, and I'm joking. Will Shipley, he's an interesting guy. We'll see what he can do this year. A.J. Dillon, at a point with the Packers, they thought he was better than Aaron Jones, really, after probably 2021 even, I think people would even say. He was horrible in 2022, 2023, he got injured. No, he didn't get injured. He wasn't good in 2023, he was like really bad. But still, A.J. Dillon is a power back who isn't really that efficient and is slow. So, not the greatest combination. Avery Williams, yeah. Whew. At Boise State, he has done absolutely nothing in his career. He was a decent returner, but, like, that's about it. So, yeah. Running back, A+. I might even get it in now. We're sticking in an A+. Saquon, again, as good as he is, like, you know, no, there's nothing to say. It's Saquon. 36 points there. Receiver. All right, this is probably overall the best receiving core in football, if I had to be honest with you guys. A.J. Brown. He's an absolutely elite receiver, even though he only got over 1,000 yards last year. He got injured, though, right? You bet. Only 13 games. I still think that his 2022 season was really the only season that I saw him like, this guy is an absolute freaking problem. But even then, the past few seasons, he's been a downright amazing player. He is big and fast, and he's the best big and fast receiver in football. Again, I'm not, like, again, Julio Jones, I don't like comparing him to him, but he's that without really the route technique and really the hand technique. There we go. Yeah, I'm strong with words today. But yeah, A.J. Brown, again, absolutely elite receiver. Some people even think he's the best receiver in the league. There's some people that actually believe that. I don't think I'll go there, but again, his combination of size and speed is just, you're not going to find that. So that's what I'll say there. Devontae Smith, yeah, maybe not the most productive year from him overall last year, but he was still career high in touchdowns. His overall route efficiency was the best of his career. Again, that's how like, basically like the timing of the route and how like quickly you get open and stuff. So it's like not just taking into account if you get open, it's how quick you get open. His release package is probably second to none in football right now. I mean, yeah, D-Hop and stuff, but like that was like 8 years ago. Yeah, Devontae Smith is phenomenal. I just want to see him, really get a chance to be like the dude. But we're going to have to wait for that for sure. But yeah, Devontae Smith is phenomenal as well. Jahan Dotson still hasn't really put up any sort of impressive season. Last year he was kind of bad. He really didn't get too many opportunities though outside of a couple games. Yeah, again, he put up back-to-back pretty underwhelming seasons, first years of his career. Definitely shows some flashes as a rookie, but overall guy who still gets open at a pretty decent clip, but we still haven't really seen him morph into maybe a slot option, which they'd really want out of him, because again, as a third guy, Devontae Smith is their A.J. Brown's their X. They're going to want to use them like that. So again, Jahan Dotson, we'll see again if he can really fit into that Y spot, but yeah, again, he's definitely still got a lot to prove, but as a third option, like with the talent there, you got to definitely take that all day. Johnny Wilson, so slow. And just huge at 6'6", but guys, this guy can just go up and get the ball. Like, he's pretty athletic like that. But like I said, he's not going to really create much separation for you. But he's, again, fourth option. There's definitely worse guys to have. Terrace Marshall Jr. is an absolute bum, scrub, can't play. But again, at this point, like, again, I don't know what to tell you guys. He's just not very good. I was shocked the Raiders signed him. Anyway, though, Anais Smith is an absolute scrub as well. But last year, like I said, I was so disappointed because he had a really big opportunity to really raise his draft stock. Someone really saw it a lot in McConkey, but again, he's just not that good, so didn't really do that. And then the rest of these guys are just there. Danny Gray's played in the past as well. But outside of that, again, it's obviously an A+ receiver. Probably the best group in the league overall. Again, it's number the Bengals at the top 2 spot, and even then they definitely have more depth there. Outside of that, though, we look at the rest of this skill position group. We got a tight end here. Dallas Goedert's definitely regressing a little bit. I didn't see the same player by any means last year, but still, he's definitely a good underneath option. He got injured last year. Definitely a lot slower in terms of his actual sprint speed at times, or like top end speed at like 50 percentile sort of things. But he still breaks tackles pretty well. As a blocker, he's always been pretty solid for them. Again, he's just kind of getting older, and I do think that, again, a guy like Grant Calcaterra could maybe take another step and be a good underneath option for them, which he really wasn't that great last year. Will definitely help this offense, I would say move on from Dallas Goedert, but not really put as much on his shoulders. For a guy who, again, at times really is a pain in the neck to play against. Colin Granson, yeah, he was supposed to be their starting tight end. Again, the Colts really gave him the opportunity to because he's a safe player, but that's really all he is, guys. He's not going to really do much for you in terms of actually elevating the offense literally whatsoever. Is he going to hurt it? Probably as well. So, yeah. Harrison Bryant, I really wish this guy kind of panned out, but he really didn't do it with the Browns, so I don't know what really to tell you on him. We'll see what he does this year. Eagles tight end room, I'll probably give a B minus on. I just don't really think Dallas Goedert's really even the same player he was at the start of last season either. So, again, there's definitely some question marks there, but overall still a pretty solid group. Now let's look at the offensive. All right, to be honest with you guys, I really don't know what you guys want me to tell you that you guys already don't know. Jordan Mailata, pound for pound, is probably the most impressive offensive lineman in football. I won't say most fun to watch because that's on the other side. But, yeah, Jordan Mailata is so physically just generational. I don't want to use that word, but it's just the truth. Again, he came in, 2020, from, South America. I might be wrong on that. I don't want to get off on that. But, yeah, again, he didn't know how to play football, and, he got really good, started to develop, and, this past season was the best year of his career. Technically, again, he's just, no one gets into his grill, which, again, is his chest area, which is how you kind of penetrate. And even then, as a run blocker, he's always been really good. So, yeah, Jordan Mailata is one of the best players in the entire NFL. If not, obviously one of the best tackles as well. Landon Dickerson, I don't think he was as, phenomenal as we saw in 2023, but he is still really freaking good. Was literally the reason that the interior offensive line succeeded most of last year. I will say he definitely regressed a little bit as a pass blocker, though, if I had to say anything. Cam Jurgens, really impressive season from the center. Many people didn't really like his approach as a pass blocker, but it really didn't matter because of how good he was, again, alongside Landon Dickerson, again, kind of in a secondary role there for their run scheme, but again, he's so good, doesn't matter. Tyler Sheen has a lot to prove this year. He was just not very effective last year. I don't think it was as bad as PFF might have made him out to be, but he definitely wasn't great, and he's, again, got benched. He's got Mekhi Becton came in for him. Big season for him. Matt Pryor might even start over him if he doesn't step up. Lane Johnson, best offensive lineman in the past 15 years. Yeah, he's that good. Doesn't make mistakes. He gives up probably 2 or 3 pressures a season. He's just that good. Miles Hinton, no. Do not want to see him out there. I want to say he's tenacious. I just say he's really aggressive as a run blocker, which is good to see. Again, you don't really see that aggressiveness out of a left tackle most of the time. But, yeah, he is really flawed. He gives up a lot of pressures, a boatload. But at the same time, you can kind of give or take it. We'll see what happens with him. Even then, he's not really that quick either. So, there's kind of a reason he gives up those too. Also, the fact that he's just a very flawed guy in his cadence. Anyway, though, Kenyon Green, huge bust from the Texans. We'll see what they can do with him. I mean, they worked with Mekhi Becton, so that'll be interesting to see. Drew Kendall, don't want to see him on the field. Kendall Lamb is just not good. And then Matt Pryor, probably the best step piece outside of Kenyon Green in terms of potential here on this O-line. Again, he's what is he now? Yeah, he's 30, so we'll see on that. Anyway, though, this offensive line's going to get an A+. I don't really care about Tyler Steen. The rest of these guys are really, really, really good. And even then, they haven't really been bad since COVID, so I don't really see a difference coming, even though, again, they had question marks last year. 24 points. Again, just going to stick with that. We're going to get 50, 36, 36, 14, and 24 for this offense. Let's put them at 160 points, and that is a crap ton. That's going to put them in the A+ tier, which is probably where they belong, to be honest with you guys. When you get 3 positions that are about as good as they get, kind of makes sense there. But yeah, tight end is really the only you could see. And then I think Jalen Hurts definitely just deserves it. If we went with Patrick Mahomes and we could just go off the winning there, I think that's fair to say. Outside of that, that's all I got for this offense. And the defense definitely has some question marks, but that's why we're talking about them now. Okay. Yeah, not Lions. We just did the Lions, right? Something like that. I'm geeked. We're on the Eagles front 7 here. All right, starting out with the D-line. Who the hell is Mora Ojomo? Who is this dude? I didn't watch really much of him at all at Texas. I'm going to be honest, I probably spent way too much time watching him last year. Does not really show me anything outside the fact that he can sustain leverage, which is really important for a guy who, in my opinion, won't be much more than just being able to do that. But to be honest, guys, with who else he has in this D-line, it might not be that big of an issue. Ty Robinson, I think, is definitely a much better upside in terms of a pass rusher because he is pretty, refined in his pass rush toolbox. He's got 3 or 4 moves. None of them are really that fantastic, but they work really well together. So I think he'll definitely be able to use that. Again, he's not a guy that I think will ever be a good run defender, though, because he just doesn't have that sort of just raw and natural feel. But at the same time, I think he'll be fine here. Again, he should definitely get the shot starting. Jordan Davis, definitely shouldn't have gotten picked at 13 overall. I think we can admit this by now. This is geeked, though. Like, I don't know what's going on here. We're just going to restart that and see if this is less, you know, weirded out. Whatever. Jordan Davis, I think we can admit at this point wasn't worth the 13th overall pick, like I just said, again, for a nose tackle. He has not been bad by any means, but just really not worth that pick. That's probably the best way I can explain it. You know, run defending, it has been as we'd expect, at some level, at least, in terms of the highlights. Again, that's probably the best way to put it. And his pass rush has been not what you might have thought coming out. Anyway, Thomas Booker, yeah, he's not a guy that I want to see on the field too often. He's just not really that impressive. But he's kind of just boring, to be honest with you. So, again, he's not really that bad of a player. Jalen Carter, pound for pound, probably is the best interior guy in the league, if I had to guess, going into next year. He got quadruple teamed. He was showing Aaron Donald flashes towards the end of the season. I'm not saying he's by any means the same guy, but, again, that talent we saw coming out of Georgia, again, the ceiling was shown most of last season. Consistency, though, we'll see if he can actually put those pressure rates the entire season. But, yeah, he is really, really, really fun to watch. Byron Young, yeah, he's definitely the highest upside guy outside of Jalen Carter in this D line. I think it's pretty fair to say there. Last season with the Raiders, not 2 seasons ago, whatever. This guy has potential. I'm full on that. Like, I really think that. Again, just watching him play out of college, but again, I don't really know what the Raiders. And then last year got injured. It was kind of a bizarre thing for him. Coming over here to the Eagles now. Yeah, he's got a lot of talent. I'm just very confused about if that is actually going to translate here. But yeah, definitely a guy who has a lot of potential. Like, I'm definitely really high on him for that reason. But yeah, has some stuff to work on it. Anyway, though, this D line I'll probably stick at a B plus just because of how good Jalen Carter is by himself and the fact that Jordan Davis, again, overall is probably an above average player. And then you got some interesting depth pieces. Again, Mura Ojomo probably won't be anything better than maybe a little bit below that average player. But again, with what they have outside of that, I think it is fair to say, but there is a big mystery there. And again, even Jordan Davis isn't really helping them too much, again, overall. So that's kind of what you get there. But yeah, as good as Jalen Carter is, again, he can only boost it up so far, along with, again, a guy like Jordan Davis. Again, if they didn't have Jordan Davis there, D tackle would probably be even lower. You guys think Jalen Carter can only do so much. With that said, we look at this linebacking core now. Zach Bond was the best linebacker in football last year overall. The statistics and just the play proved it. No one really expected him to do anything close to that. He was kind of just a backup with the Saints. Showed some sort of natural instincts, which is really good to see. Again, we didn't really see that coming out of college from Wisconsin, but yeah, really developed it pretty well there. Then last season, kind of put it all together in a defense that fit him like a glove. Again, he forced 5 fumbles. He was a first-team All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He was probably the highest, at least on film, the most impactful and consistent player in football last year, to be honest with you. But yeah, still wasn't perfect, and he got that massive contract for a reason as well. Anyway, though, the Kobe Dean, yeah, he's also really freaking good. Weirdly enough, his biggest struggle so far in the league has been the fact that he hasn't really been that great in coverage overall. Again, he got injured his first 2 years, had a lot of proof. Last season, he was really good overall. Like I said, in coverage, still something that we want to see if he really wants to get that massive extension. I think he might have already did. I'll be honest, I have no idea. I'm not much to look at the cap at this point, so yeah. Contract. Are we still on the rookie one? I expect we would be. Yeah, we are. He should be getting a big contract sometime soon. Anyway, though, yeah, Nicole Jean still want to see some more consistency, really just in zone coverage, because again, if he can do that, he'll be someone who's gonna get paid for sure, because again, he's very good. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., very good depth piece for them. Definitely not as good as the next guy we're gonna talk about overall, but he did a very good job in a I won't say a lowered role, but definitely less than like I don't even know. He played last year and did a decent job. Jahad Campbell, highest probably ceiling linebacker overall in last year's class. Might not have thought that, but again, that was probably the consensus on him. Picking the first round is a little bit high, but probably, again, if there was one linebacker to be picked that high, probably would have been him. I didn't love him too much. Again, he's very athletic overall. Solid instincts, and just, again, he has the coverage ability, which coming out is so important. But yeah, he'll definitely be a guy that could, I wouldn't say start at some point, but in terms of depth, great. Samel Mondin Jr., I had him side by top 8, if I'm not mistaken, a linebacker as well. He really isn't that impressive, guys, but he tackles pretty well. Again, very good in terms of, gap control as well. So, again, that'll be very good for them, again, if he gets out there. And then you have Dallas Gant, who, another guy that, again, we haven't really seen much out of, but we could, and definitely in the preseason, I'll definitely be watching him a little bit in training camp. But, yeah, this linebacking core is obviously getting an A+, if you haven't already figured it out. Yeah, it's probably the best in football. These guys are both, I don't know if you call him Kobe Dean elite, but he's pretty, again, he's I wouldn't say right there, but, like, probably a tier under that. Zach Bond is just because of how good he played last year. Then you got the depth is so fun to talk about as well. So we're going to say 36 points with that. And then, what is that? What did it say? Oh, no. 18 points. Pass rush now. Oh, wait. All right, there we go. They did lose Josh Sweat, which, again, many people are kind of, like, admittedly not really talking about as much, but that was definitely a big loss for them. Bryce Huff didn't really do much, so, I mean, yeah. But Nolan Smith Jr. Last year had a really fun season. Still not a guy that I really can convincingly tell you is a true '1 guy, but his speed, I want to say the power, but his speed, more speed is just works so well for him. Again, he's not a very big guy. We know 6'2", 238. He's undersized, but he is so athletic, and we saw that on display last year, along with the fact that he's really refined 2 or 3 moves for himself. Really just a swim move and kind of a chop sort of scissor thing, along with just explosive kind of like counteraction off the snap, which has put him in a spot to be a very effective guy there. But I don't really know if that's going to stick as a '1 guy, because he's going to have to put up like massive production here off the edge, again, if he's going to be able to support a guy like Jalen Carter in the interior. With that said, though, Nolan Smith is really high projections for him this season. He's got a lot of expectations. Joshua Uche, we'll get to Zizo Jolar in a second. He's a guy who, again, trade deadline acquisition from the Patriots. He was kind of okay, though. Again, he really hasn't been the same sort of efficient monster, quickness from the interior, or not interior, from the off the edge since 2022, where he had 11.5 sacks. 2023, really didn't think he played that bad, but he wasn't good that overall. And then again, last year he had an okay start to the season, then went over to the Chiefs and did absolutely nothing for them. They kind of benched him, and yeah, he's never going to be that good of a run defender, guys. He kind of gets swallowed up because he doesn't really have much of a power move, but he's so fast off the edge and has a really, it's just one of the probably one of the best bends in the entire football or entire league, as well as the fact that he's got a really good, I want to call it ghost move because that's what Abdul Carter has. It's more like a fake ghost move. It's whatever. That part of his game is so just out there that, again, it's gonna make him effective. But he was not good at all last year with the Chiefs. He's got to fix that. Azeez Ojulari, at times with the Giants he looked like he was really freaking good. Last year he looked he looked honestly probably his best year overall. Again, rookie was the only year he was healthy. The efficiency wasn't awesome. Again, he got injured in 2022. That's probably the biggest thing I could say about him. Doesn't stay healthy. Again, that's probably the reliability factor as well. But last year his power really showed up, and he's so athletic. The biggest issue, though, again, like I said, he doesn't stay healthy. So, again, unless that trains, don't really see him as, again, a true reliable guy. Jalen Hunt could be that. I don't know if he's the highest ceiling. I don't think he'll ever be more than maybe 50 pressure guy in his career. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. He's going to be a guy who can put out there just because of how good he is against the run. We'll see what he can do this year, though. Again, Jalen Hunt, getting an interesting guy. And then you got Antoine Powell-Ryland Jr. and then Patrick Johnson, who might make an impact this year. But this edge rushing group is definitely a mystery. For that reason, I have to put this pass rush at B. That might be a little bit high, but again, Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith will do enough for me. I think to at least subside is that. 12-24, and what do you say, 32 points? No. Yeah, right? 32? Well, 24, yeah, 32 points for the pass rush. And after all that, let's get into the secondary. Probably the weakest part of this defense, that being this secondary. Again, they did lose Darius Slay, but I'm not going to say that it's not really saying much, but it kind of is saying something. I don't know. Quinyon Mitchell was probably elite last year. I don't know. I'm not really going to go out and say that, but he was probably, outside of Cooper DeJean, the best rookie on this defense. No, I'm joking. Quinyon Mitchell was phenomenal last year. He'll be great for them a long time. Eli Ricks, yeah, I'd be happy if he's average. And then you got Adoree Jackson, who, he hasn't been good in a long time. Even then, he really wasn't that good when people thought he was good back in, 2017. Kelly Ringo, oh, yeah. This guy is interesting. His hip fluidity is about as good as a grandma's when she's, 80. But, yeah, still, Kelly Ringo is not the fastest either. I don't know. They're giving him a shot. I hope he can do it. I like his physicality. He can track the ball really well. But, I don't know how that matters because he really hasn't improved that much with his hip fluidity and his speed, which is the biggest concerns. And when you have that, kind of hard to play a lot of man coverage. Outside that, though, Cooper DeJean, again, we talked about the white cornerback thing and stuff. But he's just such a good chess piece for them. He's a lot more than people will give him credit for as well. So, we'll see what he can do this season. Again, I hope he throws in an all-pro season or something. Mac McWilliams, definitely the best guy outside of, he probably should be starting, to be honest with you. I'd give him the shot there. But at UCF, he's very physical. I really like his press man coverage package because he does definitely a lot of different thing with it. And also, he's just not like Quentin McKinstry, where that's really his only part of his game. But that's all I got for this cornerback room. It's just, I don't know, what are we going to give them? I'm definitely torn here. I think I'll give them a C+, which you might think is how the hell am I giving them that low? Guys, I don't have a number 2 corner. Pretty simple as that. There's just no number 2 answer here. And again, as good as Quinyon Mitchell was last year, still only his second season, and Cooper DeJean is only going to be able to do so much in the slot. So, yeah, as good as those two guys are, I think that even then that's kind of overrating it. So I think 12 points is being very generous overall because they just literally have nothing outside of Quinyon Mitchell on the boundary. All right. Safety time. Reed Blankenship really earned my respect last year. I thought he was just a white guy who couldn't really play after 2023, but last year he was so good in coverage, and he consistently was the anchor for this defense. He is very, very good, and there's a reason they didn't get too many big runs last year. Sidney Brown, yeah, he is a guy that just isn't gonna really be gonna do it for you in coverage. I get he only played 11 games last year, but he was bad in those 11 games in coverage, and yeah, we talked about the pick 6 in 2023 and all that, but yeah. He's definitely a guy that's going to need to step it up this year if he wants to keep staying in the rotation. Because, again, as bad as Lewis Cine has been his first, 3 or 4 years, again, after being picked in the first round by the Vikings, he's a guy they're going to probably take over Sidney Brown just because of, again, how much talent he does and how much he should have had or just pedigree. Maxim Hook, he's also here. I evaluated him. That's about it I have on him, though. Andrew Makuba, he was like my 4th safety, I think. I don't really know if he's a true free safety. He's got the speed for sure, but his anticipation and his overall instincts are really not there yet, so we'll see how that turns out. Tristan McCollum probably will get a chance to start as well, but outside of that, I'll probably give the safety room, I don't know, what would you say, a B-. Reed Blankenship, I think, definitely deserves that grade there. 21 points. And then we add that up for this entire defense, 36, 18, 32, 12, and 21. We get to 190 points, which, again, is pretty darn good, especially for a group that lost a lot of good players. That's going to be a B-. I think I'm going to stick them in a B because I think they'll definitely be good, but the question is, how good? Because, again, they're not the same team as they were last year. Or defense, that is. Yeah, now, let's get in the other stuff. Okay, starting this thing out with the special team unit now. Jake Elliott, he was not a good kicker last year. I mean, guys, this can't be sticking. But yeah, struggled really long from 50. Again, he's kind of like Justin Tucker without the allegations. What? But yeah, Jake Elliott definitely needs a better year. Braden Mann is just brutally average punter. I mean, he was really good last year, but he hasn't really impressed me yet for a guy who was picked in the 6th round, right? All I remember is that he was hitting Devin Madden a couple of years ago. I know that's just such a casual thing on him, but that's kind of just the truth on him. Avery Williams is a good returner. Charlie Hewlett's a decent long snapper from what I've heard. I'm not going out and watching him, to be honest with you guys. And then again, we talk about the rest of the special team unit. They're usually pretty solid. Again, with Jake Elliott being who he is, I'm going to take this at a B-. So that's me 3, 6, and 7 points there, as we should see there. All right, depth, quarterback depth, B-. Running back depth, probably a D+. No, yeah, D+. B-, D+, probably a C. Receiver depth, I give a C. Yeah, C. C, and then we're still sitting at a C. Tight end depth, I give a C as well. No, C+. We'll say we're at a C+. O-line depth, I give a C. So honestly, offensively, we're gonna give them a C for their depth. Defensively, D-line, I'm gonna give that a C. Again, I say I like these guys, but again, outside of maybe Ty Robinson, no, I'd probably say Byron Nugent. You're probably not gonna get great play out of them out of the gate. So I'm going to probably say, yeah, C. So far, edge rushing depth, C. Yeah, probably a C. Linebacker depth's an A+, so we're probably at a B now. Safety depth is, or no, cornerback depth's an absolute F. So that's going to, no, is it an F? No, it's an F. That's going to put them at, what are we going to say? An F there? No, it's a D-. We'll say a D-. We'll be nice there. So let's say we're at a C for this defense so far. Safety depth, I give a B, B-. So we're probably at a C+ there. C+, C, we're going to say a C. Again, when you look at Super Bowl teams, usually the first thing loses depth. And again, the Eagles lost a decent amount of that this past offseason. So not really surprised they're only 20 points there. Their identity, though, offensively, if everything goes as planned, they're going to be just as good as they were last year. They're going to be a pain in the neck to play. The coach pushing all that. Is going to be an issue as well. I'm going to give them an A for their offensive identity. I don't really see much changing there. Defensively, that's a big question because, again, their secondary is going to be put really on Quinyon Mitchell's shoulder to actually get extended production from them. Again, a lot of pressure on a guy like Jalen Carter as well. Nolan Smith has to take a step. So with that pressure, I'll probably put a B. But overall, I'm going to say the Eagles got a B+ for identity. I don't really like Nick Sirianni as head coach. I think he's extremely overrated. But, again, this team overall is really grooving right now. So I'm going to say B+ there, or just rolling. 45 points, though, for the Eagles' identity there. And now let's see how that affects the overall grade. And after mathing out the Eagles' overall grade, we get to 351 points. That's going to put them in the A- tier, which I think is fair. Again, the Eagles, you could argue, are an A caliber roster, probably one of the best in football overall. You could argue the best at overall as well. But again, like I said, they're not as deep as they were last year. That's the biggest difference I saw, outside of the fact that this cornerback room is just a little bit uncertain. There's other parts of this roster, like again, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where they need things to step up. If those uncertainties weren't there, they'd be an A tier. But like I said, it's very, very hard to get a true A grade roster. They're again in that tier, yes, but like I said, it's very hard to get there. And again, they would have needed, I don't know, a little bit boost from the quarterback position among other things to actually get in that A tier. But still, you can't really be mad that at this point here, Eagles fans. Again, you're probably just as good as you were last year. You're not going anywhere. You're probably gonna have a shot to win the Super Bowl as well. But that's all I got for them. And yeah, let's see who's coming up next.
Roethlisberger on a give. Leading on Bell, the cut. Bell breaks a tackle.